I hate to say, I told you so. But I did tell you so, didn't I? I told you all at the start of the season, Liverpool will go trophyless. I told you all Arsenal will win the Premier League. All right, yes, I said Man City after the Liverpool game because I was a bit emotional after the not emotional, but I was a bit like maybe Arteta's gonna fuck it up again after that Anfield game. But I told you all though, Liverpool will go trophyless, and I stand on that. And now, as I said earlier on this week, not earlier on this week, last week, shall I say, I said as soon as they play a team that believes they can beat them, they will lose. They played Crystal Palace, who believed they could beat them. They got spanked. They got absolutely destroyed, and they should have lost by 3 or 4. They got destroyed. Yeah. And yesterday, last night, they went away. They went to hell, which they were all mocking. They were all saying they're talking about 3s and 4s and all that stuff. I saw Liverpool fans in my chat talking about 4-1. They go there and they get a spanking. Canate, head not in it. Frimpong, what did I tell them like this summer? They replaced Trent, who was someone who apparently couldn't defend, which I agree couldn't really defend. He wasn't a great defender. With someone who actually cannot defend and is nowhere near as good as Trent going forward. First and foremost, before I get into this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you smash the like button, turn on post notifications, hit the sub button as well. Road to 2,000 subscribers. Arsenal are winning the Premier League. Get to fucking know, mate. Yeah? Get to know. When, as the saying goes, you cannot have too many chefs in the kitchen. Mo Salah is having a stinky time in a minute. And I do believe that is Mo Salah. You know, this is how he performs at times. And he still gets GA. His GA is drying up at this moment in time. Do you know why? Because he's not used to not... His entire time at Liverpool, really, it's always been about get the ball to Mo Salah in the box and he'll score goals. Find Mo Salah. Trent. That link up with Trent. Let's not pretend that the players don't rely on link ups. Mo Salah had very much relied on the fact that he had Trent Alexander-Arnold, who, by the way, is another top class player I'm going to get onto. Yeah? Very much relied on the fact he had him on his right hand side trying to find him with unbelievable passes. He's now struggling. Didn't have a Firmino anymore. Didn't have a Darwin Núñez opening up space for him. And now he's got to share the ball with the likes of Wirtz, who's a 10 who wants to control and dictate and create. He's now also got to share it with Isak or Ekitike because they're not like Darwin Núñez. They're not like Darwin Núñez. Just because they're better technically than Darwin Núñez, I mean they're more of a team player than Darwin Núñez. That's not how it works. Because CR7 is very technical, but CR7 wasn't a team player. Isak and Ekitike can do a facilitating thing, but reality is Isak wants to score goals. So does Ekitike. They both want to score goals. And at the minute, that is sort of hindering them. Because Mo Salah has never ever been used to having more players around him that want the ball and want to score goals and are not willing to facilitate for him. So he's now having to adapt at 31, 32 years of age. Canate, I mean, I just think he's having a bad start of the season, I'll be honest. I've always had my qualms about that guy. But I think he's having a bad start of the season. He's generally playing awful in a minute. I don't think there needs much to be said on it. I don't think it's anything to do with... I know they would like to have had a better centre-back. Not better centre-back, sorry. More depth for centre-back if they got Gahey in. Then they would have been able to drop Canate for a game and play Gahey, which I think would have been a fair option to do. But they haven't got that option because they didn't get him. Because Mark Gahey decided to reject them last minute. But yeah, that's all in all about the centre-back situation. But the right-back situation I wanted to get onto, because I was getting cooked by Liverpool fans in the summer. I really was. I said Frimpong was the most bizarre sign. I genuinely think they signed Frimpong because of the fact that he's best mates with Florian Wirtz. I think that's actually why they signed him. Because then it was like, oh yeah, bro, look, I'm going to Liverpool. Why didn't you come as well? Do you get what I'm saying? That's what it was. And it got the Wirtz deal over the line. But genuinely, I don't think Arne Slot rates him. I don't think they wanted him. I think they spent 40 million for nothing. Really and truly, they spent it for nothing. And I know they needed a right back, but he isn't a right back. And they lost Trent, who... At that time, when he was at Liverpool, they were saying he was the best right back in the world, best right back the league's ever seen, etc., etc. And they replaced him with Conor Bradley and Frimpong. And they've replaced Darwin Núñez with Isak. I get it. That is a massive upgrade, but they've also had a massive downgrade. People don't want to talk about. That is a massive downgrade. Trent Alexander-Arnold was massively integral to the way Liverpool play. And the reason why they're all sitting on Twitter right now going, we've got worse and spent 450 million, main reason is why, is because your deep-lying playmaker was always your right back. He was always your right back because he could pass. He was probably the best passer in that team. Liverpool never had midfielders. Never relied on midfielders to pass. Never. Liverpool never had midfielders in their entire existence. The only entire existence is in their entire tenure under Klopp and now Slot. The only actual passer they've ever had is Thiago from the midfield. Gravenberch's a ball progressor. McAllister's not an elite passer. Szoboszlai is not an elite passer. Fabinho wasn't an elite passer. Wijnaldum wasn't an elite passer. Curtis Jones, Jordan Henderson, they weren't elite passers. The only elite passer was Thiago. The only one. You see what I'm saying? And you lost Thiago a couple of years ago. Now you've lost Trent. Now you got Wirtz in, which I did think they should have replaced Trent with Wirtz with number 10. He's not performing. And I don't think he's going to perform anytime soon. I genuinely don't think he will. I don't think he'll find his rhythm soon. I think he's going to have a very, very tough first couple of months in the Premier League. And at the moment in time, you can't afford, really and truly, with this Premier League season, the way it can go with it as a league title, yeah, you can end up being 10 points behind. You can end up getting knocked out of cup competitions. I do think, just before I get on to the rest of it, I do think this current crop of Liverpool players will win a Premier League at some point. I think Isak, Wirtz and all that stuff will win the league with them, but just not this season. I don't think that's an outrageous take. I think people look at me funny and saying, yeah, I understand, maybe it is a bit of Man United bias. I don't want Liverpool to win the Premier League. I don't. I would much rather Arsenal. I'd much rather Chelsea. I'd much rather fucking anyone but Liverpool. Because then they're going to sit there and waffle on about all summer how they're the biggest club in England, which makes no fucking sense. Because they want to fucking... Because they're on 21, despite they'll be on 3 Premier League titles. And they ain't going to do it. And I said it this season, they're going to go trophyless. They're going to go trophyless. The only trophy I can see them win is the League Cup. And I don't think they're going to win that. They had their steady eddies. They didn't need to do what they did. They didn't realistically, they didn't actually need to do what they did. They could have just gone and bought two centre backs. They bought Leone and someone else. They couldn't get Gay, cool. They should have gone and bought a right back. Yeah, a quality right back. A number 10, which to be fair they did, and a striker. And then bought potentially a left winger or bought another, something along the lines. They need to buy 2 strikers. But I understand because obviously, sadly what happened to John. I understand their business. I do understand the way that they approach their business. But I just think... Right now, I think because they won the league last season, and they've signed Isak and Wirtz and all the PR and all that stuff, it's like I think people just thought it was a God-given thing they're going to win the league, and I don't think that's how it works. And at this moment in time, I also want to get on to someone else, which I did say in the summer, and I stand on it. We don't know how good Arne Slot actually is. We don't actually know how good Arne Slot is. We don't know how good he is. Last season, he won the league. I've seen Mancini win the league, average manager. I've seen Ranieri win the league, get sacked the next season. Same with Mancini, by the way. I've seen Pellegrini win the league, then finish 3rd and 4th. It's very hard to do back-to-back. You can win a league title. The Premier League is not especially last season when I think everyone admitted at the end of it, the Premier League was shit. The Premier League was shit. The Premier League was shit last season. Genuinely was shit. It was awful. Let's have it right. The Premier League was awful last season. It was. The second best team were Arsenal and they were shit. And they had bare injuries and bare red cards and shit like that. And their manager was fucking around with the system. Now, we're going to see how good he actually is when he's got real tests. Because I think City and Arsenal are both going to go for it this season. And both going to do well. Much better than they did last season. How's he going to do in cup competitions? He's never done anything in Europe. I could be wrong. He won a knockout game with Liverpool last season, but I don't know if he's ever won a knockout tie in the Champions League. Never won one knockout tie, One knockout tie in the Champions League. He didn't win any of the cups last season. I'm going to see this season what Arne Slot is really about. Is Arne Slot really that good? Or is he just another Mancini type, Pellegrini type, where they came in first season, no one really knew how to, they did a bit of coaching, no one really knew how to play against them, and they got a bit of luck. Not going to say it was all luck, because it wasn't luck, because at the end of the day, they won the league title because they were good. Let's have it right, and Mo Salah was unreal. Do you get what I'm saying? But it was a bit of luck in terms of the fact that the other City had a massive fall off, etc., etc. You know what I'm trying to say? Same with Arsenal. Is Arne Slot actually that good? That's what I want to know. But I'm standing on the fact that I think they're going to go trophyless this season. I'm sure that will rattle all the Liverpool fans. They're on Twitter right now. They're having a fucking meltdown. I don't even know why. They've lost 2 games, and one of them was in the Champions League. crazy works to me. But yeah. Anyways, hit the like button, hit the sub button. I'm out, people. Peace.